Hi everybody, in today's video we're going to head over to the Blas Islands. Chris had the opportunity to go there a couple of years ago when he brought up a boat from St. Martin. These are beautiful islands and it was time to take Chasing Stars out for its first ride with the family. We had Grandma and Grandpa and also our Papa on board, so it was time to go. We had spent about 2.5 weeks at Shelter Bay Marina, and the girls had done a lot of fun things, trying to catch fish at the marina, swimming in the swimming pool. We had done plenty of reading, so it was time to go. However, right as we headed out of the marina, we hit some serious rough waters and most everybody got seasick. It left Chris with a pretty skeleton crew with our 16-year-old and our 4-year-old. So it was pretty rough. That evening, we pulled into Linton Bay. It was a great area, and those who had recovered from some of their seasickness headed over in our dinghy to the beach. There we saw some really playful monkeys. They were on full display and were quite entertaining.
Whoa, here I go, chasing stars again. Here I go now, away out in the blue. And I know where I go in this great big world, that I only wanna go chasing stars with you.
Blas is home to the Guna Indian culture, and some of those islands are uninhabited, but they will still be owned by an individual family, whereas other islands actually house the family and they have a hut that is on the island. So it was a very interesting thing to learn. All of the islands have coconut trees, but you're not supposed to pick up any of the coconuts. Not climb to pick them up or pick them up off the ground, because the Guna Indians sell them to the Colombian country, where they get $8 million per year. And that's how they get some of their income. This picture looks a little bit like a postcard, but I took it just with my camera. This was the funnest afternoon that we spent on this island, looking at all of the starfish in the water and paddleboarding around this beautiful island. And we saw so many great sunsets in the Blas. It was just a beautiful place to be. Our first day there, we dropped anchor at one of the most famous places there called the swimming pool. Kids of all ages can swim here because it's got very calm waters, very clear water. The kids had a great time diving for seashells. One afternoon we had a sand castle building contest that Grandma and I got to judge, which was a fun way to pass the afternoon. We also met some friends from America, Mike and Breeze and their wives. They told us that once a week they build a fire and burn their garbage, so we decided to join them. They also showed us this beautiful lagoon where it was a great swimming hole. There are a few larger islands in the Blas that will house villages. There you will find a hospital, a school, a small store, and maybe a restaurant or two. These are very unique villages. You can see really how some of the people live there and walk up and down the streets, which was really fun for us to be able to do. It was a really hot day while we were there, so it was really refreshing to sit down to a meal at a restaurant. The food was delicious. The Guna Indian culture is, for the most part, a very friendly culture. They wear bright, colorful clothing, and you can buy things like aprons or tablecloths. It's very rude to take their picture unless you ask permission first. We really enjoyed our time in the Blas Islands, seeing the sights, the different islands, and learning a lot about their culture. But it was time to turn back and head back towards Panama for our canal date. Our next stop was Portobello Bay, where it's rich in history. Christopher Columbus was the first to discover it, and it became a trading post with a lot of gold and silver coming in and out of the port. At one point, a pirate held the town hostage for 100,000 pesos, or the whole town would be put to death. Right now, it's very colorful. A lot of murals and a lot of gems are put up on the walls that decorate the streets as you walk up and down this tiny village. Part of what makes this town also so famous is a church that depicts a black Christ. And for the Catholic Church, this was one of the first of its kind. So this was one of the historical sites we were able to see in Portobello. But what made Portobello so unique for us, besides its historical significance, was that we made so many good friends here. The sailing community is so helpful. We were having some boat problems here, and we were able to get a lot of help here. One of the helpers that we found had this fun local canoe that Chris held onto up above the water while the other guy went underneath our boat to take a look at one of our fixes. But soon we had to head off back to Linton Bay where they had a boat yard. So off we went to Linton Bay. We found a family from Quebec. They spoke French. The parents spoke English, but the kids spoke only French. The kids still had a fun day playing with them. They had this cute dog, Muska. I'm going to let Nicole introduce her family in her native language.
Bonjour, mon nom est Karine, j'ai 2 enfants, Noah et Alexia, et mon mari Maxime. Et mes enfants sont très heureux de vous avoir rencontrés, car ils s'amusent beaucoup. Et notre chien aussi sur le paddle, qui est juste là. Et nous venons du Canada, de Québec, et nous avons voyagé en voilier jusqu'ici au Panama. Good? Yes!
These same friends told us about these mangroves that grew really close to where we were anchored, so we went over to check them out. Mangrove trees are the only tree or plant that can grow in both salt water as well as fresh water. So we had to dodge some reefs that were really high up close to the water. So once we dodged those, we got over to this wonderful area where we could kind of dinghy around. Mangroves are really leafy trees. At the very first, they touch the water, and they're just really beautiful, very leafy green trees that you can't even see through when you're looking through them. Now, I'm standing up in the dinghy here, so I'm trying to balance that, so it's a little bit tricky. And then as we got a little bit further along in this open area, it starts to turn into a little bit more of a canal, like we're going through a little bit of an Amazon. And whenever we would try to pass another dinghy, it got just a little bit tighter as things move along. We did see several critters as we were going through the canal. A few birds, a few snakes, a few spiders, I hate to say. But one of the things that we needed to keep our eye out for was a sleeping sloth. Nicole told us that there was one along the way, and just to make sure that we kept our eye open for her. Sure enough, there she was. We found out from a Smithsonian museum that fungus growing on sloths is starting to become a cure for cancer and other types of diseases. The camera doesn't really show this, but at one point she kind of looked down at us. Sloths don't move very much, as we all know, so it was kind of fun for her to kind of move around for us. But our time at Linton Bay had come to an end. Our boat was fixed, and it was time to head out to go meet our canal date. Grandma and Grandpa and Papa, that's what they had come to see, so that was what it was time to go and get done. Our rest and relaxation time was ticking slowly down. It was time to get to work.
That's all for now. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us at Sail Chasing Stars.
Whoa, here I go, chasing stars again. Here I go now, away out in the blue. And I know where I go in this great big world, that I only wanna be chasing stars with you. Yeah, I only wanna go chasing stars with you.